But my best advice is stop expecting doTERRA to pay you just for ordering products and using them. So many people that are like, hi, I lost money. Da, 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 da. You didn't lose money. You bought products and took care of yourself. And it's not doTERRA's responsibility that you didn't,
Uh,
put yourself out there more, or whatever the reasons are, right? So
yeah,
stop pointing fingers and blaming everyone else. And
yeah.
then turn three back on you and say, okay, what did I do today? Two,
Hmm.
who did I talk to about essential oils? Who did I share with? People will open up
Amen.
and share. We are desperate, desperate, desperate for relationship, communication, and human connection.
Hmm.
We have turned into QR codes and links,
Yeah,
sitting belly to belly, knee to knee, toe to toe, hugging and crying and listening and solving
yeah.
with humans in human form.
Welcome to today's success coaching call. I have a crazy belief that you were born to be free, and doTERRA just happens to be the very best vehicle for creating freedom at all levels. Freedom in the physical realm, in the emotional, financial, every kind of freedom you could want is here for you. Natalie and I have been at this for 18 years, creating freedom for ourselves and others, and we are passionate about it. This is not just a job for us. This is our passion project. And so we love to study success and interview people who have had different levels of success and created freedom of their own. And so today I'm super excited to have with us Lisa Zimmer. We've invited Lisa to come on and tell us, first of all, where are you from, Lisa?
I'm originally from a small farm town in Illinois, and I moved to Fort Myers, Florida, a bigger city, about 4.5 years ago.
Awesome. Well, take us on your doTERRA journey. Tell us about your life before doTERRA. What were some of the holes in your life, the
Mm.
needs that you were trying to fulfill, and how doTERRA did that?
First of all, I'm going in a totally different direction because you just said the perfect word for me, freedom. Got a little choked up when you said that. So I did not live a life that felt like freedom.
Hmm.
And so when doTERRA came along, I still can't believe it turned into what it turned into today. But to start from the beginning, I grew up in a small town. And I worked for multiple companies over the years, and I usually would last about 3 years at a company. And then I would learn the ins and outs of the company, and I'm a fixer. I love to solve problems, right? And make things more efficient. And this doesn't make sense. If we did it this way, it'd be more profitable. If we did it this way, we'd have to work less hours or whatever, right? That was not always appreciated, especially when you were a 22-year-old right out of college, or, this is 30 years ago, right? So I got the quiet, you don't really know anything. And then I would just be like, okay, I'm done here. I got to find something new. And at one of my most successful jobs that I had, an IT business, um, this is where I got my phrase, fake it until you make it. I wanted a better job, so I pretended that I was qualified for a better job, and I started at an IT company where I didn't know how to turn the laptop on, and then within 3 years, became the top salesperson and trained everyone, and then found out I was being paid 50 cents on the dollar to my counterparts that I trained as the top salesperson. And then I was assaulted by the company owner. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna work for myself from now on. And so all these little nuggets of, drama and trauma and whatever get us where we are today and make us as strong as we are. And I never would have ended up on this path had it not been for those things. Because where I'm from, you stick to the grind. You work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and you do what you're told, and then you retire when you're 65 if you live that long. And so once again, none of this amazing career and lifestyle would have ever happened had it not been for those things. Um, then eventually I realized I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur and work for myself. You had to wake up and know what to do every day and not go to lunch and not go shopping and actually work and look for customers and whatnot. And it took me a little while to figure that out. So I started in the jewelry business, waiting on customers because I saw when I got engaged and I got married how much fun that was and how exciting, and every single transaction was joyous. And I learned how to sell. And it was one of the greatest gifts that I've ever been given because it didn't feel like I was selling. It felt like I was helping people. I was helping them start with one of the most exciting things in their life. So I've always had a really good mindset on selling and serving. So eventually I started in a real estate career and became very successful. And I was in that business about 12 years, but I was never happy. I loved it. I loved helping people. I loved making money. I loved making the kind of money on the sales that I made. But I was just never fulfilled. And 12 years in, I was walking from my parents' house to my house. We lived next door to each other. And I looked up and I said, God, please tell me what to do. I'm not a quitter, but I can't do this anymore. This business is killing me and it's destroying my family. I work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and I can't do it anymore. Please tell me what to do, but I can't quit. And the next day I woke up and couldn't move my arms or legs, and I was disabled in a wheelchair with brain damage. I was on a prescription for a respiratory infection, and that prescription was a fluoroquinolone antibiotic. And by day 5, when I opened my eyes and my husband and son came in to kiss me goodbye to go to school, I couldn't talk. And tears were going down my face because I knew I was not going to be alive by the time they got home from school that day. And suffered with that for 2 years and 7 months. And then my best friend since kindergarten said, I went to this crazy oil class in a snowstorm last night, and I was the only one there. They were going to cancel it because of the snowstorm, but they just decided to hang out. And she showed up and she got a catalog and a phone number from a girl none of us knew. We just she saw a random post. I couldn't go because the woman had cats and I was deathly allergic back then. My friend got a sample and gave me the lady's book and said, have you heard about these? And I thought it was the silliest thing I ever heard. And it began the greatest journey of our life. Fast forward, I got my oils, and within 3 months, I was 100% better after 2 years and 7 months of begging God to take me to heaven every night from the pain. And within 4 months, I was silver. And within 6 months, I was gold. Within 11 months, I was platinum. In months, I was diamond. And in 4 years, I was blue diamond. And had I understood the structuring plan, I would have been diamond in a year and blue in 2. But side note, I just wanted to help people so bad and save the world from ever going through what we went through. So people were like, how are you so assertive? How are you not afraid to talk to people? Like, you can't go from wheelchair brain damage, begging to die to this at 50 and keep your mouth shut, right? You can't. I have, for the first time in my whole life, mental health, physical health. I was on 13 prescriptions before doTERRA since from like the age of 5, and asthma, allergy, eczema, IBS, depression, anxiety, chronic migraines. I was just walking sick before I even took that prescription, and napped every day. And what this job did for me was it healed so many parts and wounds that were opened during that journey of I was never free because like even in real estate, every transaction, you can't, I'm going to do whatever you say, and I'm going to take whatever emotional abuse as my client you're going to give me because that paycheck is going to be 17 grand for that one house. I was never free. I felt abused everywhere I went. And doTERRA provided me the emotional health with the products themselves. No pressure, because if someone doesn't buy a $20 bottle of lavender, the world's not going to end, and the paycheck is still, the house is still going to get paid, right? Physically, I'm the healthiest I've ever been at 54 years old. And financially, I ended up divorced post-COVID. And had I not had my doTERRA business, this business has saved me over and over and over again. Botched eye surgery, I still got paid anyway for a year and a half when I couldn't see. I just showed up every week on live and pretended I could see. I still showed up once a week, right? And then divorce, I was able to support me and my son. Like, this business has saved every category that you listed at the beginning of freedom for me and gave me purpose, which is the number one thing, number one takeaway, because money will never replace purpose.
Wow.
Sorry, that really came out, but you really
Amen.
triggered me
No,
with the whole freedom thing.
that is resonating at such a deep level for me, and I can tell in the comments for our viewers as well. Wow, what an incredible journey. I mean, if you hadn't lived it yourself, you probably wouldn't believe
Nobody,
it.
Mm-mm. Everybody says, and that's not even the, tip of, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Everybody says you should write a book. I'm like, when would we have time for that?
Oh, goodness.
We got to
Wow.
help the people.
Yeah,
No
right.
time for that.
What an incredible journey. And I love your observations about this, the nature of the business. Like as you're out there healing others, you get healed. Like just that journey of reaching into your soul, finding solutions for other people was the healing journey for you. I mean, you had an incredible healing to begin with, but it just kept going, it sounds like, with
Mm.
with every level of healing and freedom. Oh my goodness. So amazing. So talk to us some more about just some of the mechanics of how you built. You talked about your friend who went to a class. Is that how you built, just doing classes?
So just doing classes, well, actually at first, no, I did not understand the business plan. When I enrolled with the woman, I didn't know her and I was very bitter and angry
Mhm.
and from being sick for so long and hopeless. And so I said, don't talk to me about selling your product or I will stop ordering.
Mhm.
And so she didn't. She listened, right? Don't listen. Don't talk to people about the business opportunity, no matter what. And I got better, right? So quick at like 3 months. I had a 6 month journey of using the oils before I started my business. But so that 6 month journey at 3 months in, I was better from month 3 to 6 before I discovered this class thing. Um, and reading posts on Facebook, and there were very few to try to follow to learn how to do the business.
Mhm.
And I started selling rollers.
Mhm.
I would make rollers for ten
Wow.
dollars and sell them, and I made thousands. I made sure every single person in my town had a roller of DDR Prime because that was for my brain, and
Uh-huh.
Digest Zen for my gut because once you digest food again, you can heal from things, and a Balance and Serenity roller, and I sold those all day long. And then I realized someone reached out to me from Diamond Club, like 4 levels up, because there was a bunch of new people between me and her. In fact, I think she was premier and doing Diamond Club back then. And she said, you just enrolled like 2 people. Who are you? Where did you come from? And how did you do it? And they did not get free oils. Let's connect. We
Hmm.
did, and she explained it all to me. And I said, that sounds really complicated. And it was like a very long conversation and a lot of acronyms. And I still had brain damage. And I said, never mind. Can we just host a class and I
Wow.
get free oils?
Wow.
That's why I'm always telling people, please stop talking and please stop over explaining everything because we talk
Yep.
ourselves out of all of it. I
Yep.
was like, I don't understand any of those words and now I feel dumb, so I'll just take my free oils and invite my friends. And 22 people came to my first class
Wow.
and we never got to how to order the oils. And so I told my husband, we had been in sales, 20 some years at that point. I said, we can do this. And we found Callie Wilson. And I think it might have been the video, the original
Ah,
Callie Wilson class video.
yeah.
And I couldn't teach yet because I would just cry. As soon as I started talking, I would start crying because I was still in that new phase of, is what I had going to come back? Did
Mm.
it really work, or is this just another test, another lesson? And so I gave him the Callie Wilson video on YouTube, and I said, "Watch this as many times as you can and memorize it. You
Mm.
teach, and I'll
Mm.
close."
Mhm.
And we did that, and we just started teaching classes, and we taught classes, and we taught classes, and we became amazing teachers, amazing.
Wow.
Because he could teach, he could work the room, he was funny, he could close, he was amazing, and we became completely unduplicatable.
Wow. Interesting. Talk to us more about what you mean
Yep.
by
So we used Zydo, so that taught my team during the classes that that's how you enroll people.
which can
And
be expensive for new people.
I was the only one with the Zydo. I
Hmm.
didn't realize all the repercussions, right, until you're diamond and you have
Hmm.
extremely dependent team on you because you created that environment. And we
Which is what
taught
you're trying to get away from with your job, right?
Yep. And so we became the boss and not a
Mhm.
leader, not the teacher. We were trying to control, we were all of it. And we reached Diamond. We taught 77 classes in 60 days to reach Diamond.
Oh my goodness.
And it was one of those leadership competitions, and they announced if you win this text blitz, you get an executive or an every oil kit, or I don't remember. I think we got an every oil kit or something. I don't know. We got like third in the company. But I
Wow.
went home at 5 o'clock that day, and I was texting people till 9 p.m. to book classes, and then from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. I was sending them Facebook messages and booked 77 classes in 60 days. So I'm a big fan of text blitzing. But then after that, I was like, how do we get to Blue Diamond? And I structured wrong. And then I was really upset. And I said, I don't like this business anymore. I have a team that's dependent on me, and it's too much work, and nobody can do anything without me because I created that. And the last straw was when someone we had taught or enrolled like 2.5 years earlier. She said, yeah, I'm so excited. I have someone, Lisa. I need to bring them to your house to sit down and do the Zydo so we all can enroll them. And that's when I was like, okay, we're done. Zydo's great. We'll use it later in the process, but we need to teach and stop customizing every enrollment when we have beautiful starter kits of top 10 oils that everyone needs in their home. So we
Yeah.
enrolled every single person with either it's the Family Essentials kit or the Home Essentials kit, just small bottle, big bottle, which you're more comfortable with, and let's get the daily supplement super powered by essential oils to change your life too. Boom.
Amazing.
Became duplicatable.
And tell us more about what was the content of the class? Was there like tear pads? What was the framework?
So I took doTERRA had, I think it was a tear pad. I
Hmm.
forget what it was called. And I took that and converted it into a trifold brochure. And the
Uh,
one thing I noticed doTERRA never did, and still doesn't, is none of the materials tell you how to actually get the account. Like
hmm.
we didn't have any tools that said go to
Hmm.
doTERRA.com, go to the person's website, click here, click here, click here, click here. So I
Hmm.
added that, and we just started teaching from that one little piece of paper, and it was all top tens.
Hmm.
And then we got to Diamond, and I realized here's the problem. We have everyone coming to our house, right? We instead of teaching to five hostesses that week and having two or three people show up, right? I'm in a town of 5,000 people, keep in mind.
Hmm.
And it was dwindling to where people weren't coming back. Well, they
Hmm.
weren't coming back because we were teaching the same content over and over and over and over and over. So
Hmm.
we got to Diamond, and our classes were dwindling to one or two people. And I said, you know what? Why don't I be the hostess? You can all be hostesses too, but everybody come to my house. And then I didn't have to leave. I
Hmm.
didn't have to travel, 2 hours for one person to show up. Keep in mind, teach the class anyway with one person. That's how we got here today, right? But point being, we did that. Then we saw nobody was coming back and bringing their friends. And I'm from a community of not assertive women. And so they wanted to just bring their friends to the house. Well, I was all for that. I'm going to teach the class anyway. Bring the people. That's fine, but I wanted them to find their words. And so I created a little script so they could learn to enroll people outside of the class setting.
Hmm.
And then I gave them the little brochure. I'm like, you can just read it. You don't have to be us. You don't have to be amazing. I want you to be you, and I want you to be duplicatable. Just read the paper. And then people watching you are like, wow, is this all you do? You just read this little paper in the class and read from it and talk to people? Yep, that's all we do. And then more people wanted to share. And then I decided to change the topics every week. So every Thursday at 6 p.m., it was class at the Zimmers, and we changed the topic and we started doing make and takes. And that very first DIY class, I started seeing people online getting together, making scrubs. And right, this is like 20, doing fun girl parties, like DIYs. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of sick of this Essential Oils 101. I want to do that.
Hmm.
And the first class, we went from one or two people coming to the one-on-one class to that first DIY. 16 people came, and I had seats for like 10 or 12. So they were even sitting on the floor. Everybody just wanted community and fun and learning. Then people started coming back every week and bringing their friends and bringing new friends and then
Hmm.
helping each other. And then I saw Susie Q's helping, Betty Lou make this roller. Susie Q's a potential share because she's taking the lead and being assertive.
Hmm.
And so I just saw all kinds of things blossom from those classes.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, are these the classes that you have available on your website? The
Yes,
The
thank you for
trifolds?
asking that. I don't bring that up unless you ask. So
Yeah, yeah.
yes, so I just kept picking topics as people asked for them. So like
Hmm.
pets, pregnancy, birth, baby. So what I figured out was the very first class, I was like, okay, chicks dig DIY. We love fun, fellowship, hands-on. We want the oils on the people. I wanted to build confidence because I saw when I transitioned to DIYs, I don't do them all the time. But when I transitioned to DIYs and I showed everybody and I made them touch them, I removed the fear. I'm like, hold your essential oil bottle at a 45-degree angle. The oils come out naturally. Now they're touching it and controlling it and learning it. So when that box came, they were opening the box
Mm.
because they weren't scared anymore.
Hmm.
They saw it, they touched it. It wasn't a scary, strange thing.
That's
And then
awesome.
they'd bring their friends back, and I built a Blue Diamond on a team of sharers.
Wow. Talk to us more about that. What is I mean everybody wants a rock star builder, right? But talk
Yeah.
to us about the power of sharers.
Power of shares is also stability because if a rock star decides they can be a rock star someone else, somewhere else, they might do that. But my
Hmm.
sharers were part of a community,
That's amazing.
right? And so
Yeah.
I started building community everywhere I went. We were told to sample only, which that's great. That's everybody does it differently. I had never heard of sampling until I think I was Diamond.
Wow.
And I sampled after. I didn't understand sampling in advance. I do it on occasion, but it's rare. I usually just, I felt I had such a belief in the product, I didn't feel like I needed to do that. I just
Mm.
needed to tell them that it worked. And if it doesn't work, we have a money back guarantee and nobody ever returned anything. But I sampled afterwards and spoiled the
Mm.
customers afterwards with a little
Mm.
A to Z, the
Mm.
pattern there. If it healed me, I wanted to heal them. And then at the classes, they were basically getting sampled in the class. They just had to pay the
Mm.
$5 for it to cover the cost
Mm.
of the oils. And I got a little program approved with compliance to do that. And
Mm.
they got the oils on. So they were leaving with samples. They ended up getting everything free all the time because we
Mhm.
gave them their DIYs free when they got started with their own account today.
Mm.
Don't you want to get started and get everything that you just agreed to pay for free instead? And then
Oh,
they had
wow.
100% enrollment because, of course, they want their rollers that they just made for free.
Yeah.
And then they could come back the next week. And so I just started seeing the power in getting people together, like doing
Hmm.
group follow-ups. So eventually, each week at class, you could start the class an hour before and bring your oils. And we did your membership overview for anyone that enrolled the week before. And then we would go into the next class and learn on a new topic. New people would enroll. Those people that came for their membership overview stayed and built their confidence in their product with another class. People shared testimonials. I want existing members and newbies at every class because the existing members share their testimonials and sell everyone on the product from me. I'm the salesperson, so I'm
Right.
not as believable. And so it just became this cycle of we have a system. I love a good system. Once a
Mm.
month, we do a monthly workshop at a church, and in one room, we're brand new people, and the leader taught brand new people. As we escorted those people through the room of the big group of people having fun, and then we said, you get to go to the fun room and play with
Mm.
the oils and do all the things and get the free goodies once we get you your own account. So they would
Mm.
be in there learning. And then we parade them back to the fun room. They'd be enrolled, and everybody would visit and play together. So
Mm.
once a month, our team played together. And by the time COVID hit, we had 125 people at our last monthly workshop.
Wow. That's amazing. And this is all in your town of 5,000.
5,000 people.
Wow. If you can do it there, folks,
If we could do it there.
you can do it anywhere, right?
And the average, let's see, the average home price was 120,000 and most
Oh
people
my
were
goodness.
making $8 to $15 an hour.
Oh my goodness. Incredible.
Everyone can afford a family essentials skip.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to me about your incentive program for these sharers. You talked a lot about the incentive for the customers, but what's in it for the sharer to start sharing?
So my first goal was to help every single friend of mine, because all my top lines are friends and family, get to the 50 to $100 a month so that they could get their products paid for. So I made sure people fell in love with the products, not the business. So what
Hmm.
happened in that from what I could see, was anybody that came to me for the business itself and the business only didn't stick because they didn't have a miracle moment and didn't develop their passion for the product. You
Mm.
have to love this product and love what it can do for people more than anything else in order to flourish. I feel.
For sure.
And so I made sure they fell in love with the product and we had miracle moments for all of them.
Hmm.
My process, if you have a miracle moment, a woman is not going to be able to keep it to herself. So I have them
Amen.
have a miracle moment with a quick responding oil, and
Hmm.
then we grow them into the supplements and everything. And the shares then, right? If they made their $100 a month, if I can help you get that $100 a month, will you commit to spending 100 a month? And then we do that together. And everybody agreed to back then and said yes, right? Or it seemed like it.
Hmm.
And back then it took 3,000 in volume and elite and the harder power 350 to
Hmm.
reach that $100 goal. And now it
Hmm.
takes 500 PV
Hmm.
to reach that goal. It takes
Wow.
1/6 the amount. It's a lot more than 1/6 less work, but right. So a brand new person only has to get 500 PV in
Hmm.
monthly orders for the next 12 months, and they're making $100 a month because they're going to reach their PGV $50 boost and their Power of Three $50. I
Wow.
love this new comp plan so much. It's so much easier
I
to
love that.
explain to people to
Yeah.
share. So I tell everyone in almost every video weekly, I want to help every single customer in doTERRA work towards $50 to $100 a month to help your products be paid for. And then if you'd like to
Wow.
do more, we can help you share and grow. And you don't have to be me, just be you.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I love your journey to tap into the power of duplication. We have many, many leaders who have done so many things that were absolutely brilliant, but didn't duplicate. And so I love that you are where you are, that you've come to this beautiful place where you teach what duplicates. It doesn't matter so much about what you do, but you teach a system that's duplicatable. So people can watch what you're doing or watch what you're teaching and say, I can do that.
I can do that, even if
Yeah,
it's just to get product paid for.
yeah,
I
totally.
still have a team of sharers.
I love that. And
Hmm.
I love that you're locked in on Power 3. Power 3 really was designed to be, after Fast Start, which is a great little starter bonus, it's kind of this bridge until your unilevel starts to kick in and become meaningful. So I love that you're positioning Power 3 to really set people up for long-term success.
Because if they're and even at the most basic, when they get that $100 a month,
Yeah,
most of the time they
yeah,
don't leave.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have anyone that's left, even if
Right.
they don't share the business anymore.
Yeah.
They're still passionate about their product and spend their 100 to 100 to I have one that spends like 800 a month, right? But
Wow.
they're passionate about the product, so they keep talking about it and keep ordering.
Wow. So talk to me about your transition. Um, it sounds like you have it sounds like you really lead with oils. You talked about the miracle moments.
Hmm.
Um, how do you transition from oils to supplements and
Okay.
foundational products?
So it's part of every class and has been ever since I started taking LLV. It took me a year or more to get into LLV, but I was afraid to try anything new because I was in the supplement department because I was better and I was too scared to rock that boat. But once I did, my life changed with LLV. Takes care of my mental health
Hmm.
as well as my physical health, which is
Hmm.
mega important. And so once I took it, I started sharing it at every class. So it's the top 10 oils and LLV, PB Assist back then, and Terrazyme, and old hair care. I won't
Hmm.
bring that up, but I had
Painful subject.
I will pay hundreds of dollars for them leaders
Oh
if
my gosh,
anybody
right?
does. So, I had every single person on my team pretty much on LLPB Restore and Terrazyme and the hair care and the top 10 oils. So I tried to get every single person to do home essentials and add on LLV, PB Restore, and Terrazyme and hair care. and then would back help overcome their objections. Like if it was price, then we'd phase certain things out and put them on the wish list for the next months, right? So if all I could help them get started with was the family essentials kit, I would then start their LRP with PB Restore, Terrazyme, and hair care. And I just kept staying in that wheelhouse because everyone knows how to use hair care, everyone knows how to take supplements, but I needed monthly consumables, right?
Mhm.
And we're talking billion-dollar markets for hair care, skincare, beauty care, right? And so if they only got family essentials, I made sure in their goodie bag. So the new sampler, or not new, but like the 2 years of samplers that doTERRA's been sending out through the rewards program, I did that. I created the goodie bag. So when you enrolled, if you enrolled with just oils, in your
Mhm.
goodie bag was basically 5 sachets, even before we had sachets, of
Mhm.
LLV, PB Restore, and Terrazyme.
Mhm.
So you were taking them when you left, so you were feeling better by the time those oils came in. Does that make sense? They were leaving with oils from the class to use from their rollers or samples because they enrolled in their goodie bag. So I made sure that people were using the products that 1 week they were waiting for product.
Mm.
So that
Awesome.
now we know in that goodie bag was On Guard Breathe drops and a couple rollers and the hair care sample. And it was brilliant because
Mhm.
everyone then signed up for those products that they
Mhm.
in their LRP. So
Beautiful.
basically it's the essential foundations now is what
Yeah.
and that's just perfect for me.
Yeah.
Do you want to, if they object to the $250 price tag, I say, do you want to start with the oils kit or do you want to start with the supplements, which you're more comfortable with? They pick
Hmm.
one, I say, great, we'll order the other next month.
Love that.
Done. Easy. Duplicatable.
Yeah.
Don't have to know
So
anything
good.
about any of the products. Just tell them this was created to change their life and it's going to address the things that they said they needed help with. Much
Love it.
education you need.
Yeah.
Confidence and assertiveness.
Keep it simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Virginia's asking the question, when you're trying to create this miracle moment for others,
Mm-hmm.
how do you do that? Is there one product? How do you create that miracle moment?
So I use the same script every time. So I'd be like, hey, Andy, tell me what you got going on. Are you having trouble with pain, stress, allergies, sleep, digestive? What do you got going on? Right. And then you tell me, and I write it all down. Great. We have this excellent, super discounted starter kit. And I do my little spiel there. It's called 60-second enrollment and I enroll you, right? A lot of this is over the phone, or if it is in person. I want to make sure you're leaving with a miracle moment product from that top 10 or whatever it takes, right? So for me, it was so if anyone says anything digestive, I make sure they get or top 10 products like Breathe, On Guard, what lavender. There's so many. If it's sleep, right, I make sure they're using like lavender, serenity, breathe, frankincense. So I'm looking for the quick fixers. DDR Prime is not a quick fixer for brain damage. So had I
Right.
used that oil first, we would not be here today.
Yeah.
I ordered Digestin and DDR Prime, right? I had two major issues. I did not digest food and I had severe brain damage. And
Mm.
I used Digestin on the bottoms of my feet. And on day 3, I digested food normally after 2.5 years. That's a miracle moment.
No kidding.
Um, using Breathe and lavender in my diffuser every night, I slept for the first time without drugs.
Wow.
That's a miracle moment.
Yeah.
So look for and start to learn those things, right? I want new people to be able to enroll anyone.
Hmm.
I don't explain the oils when people enroll with me now. I explain the oils after we enroll,
Mm-hmm.
unless I'm teaching a class. If I'm
Hmm.
doing a one-on-one, I just say, I've got the solutions to your problems. Let's go. And we start visiting about you.
Hmm.
So I relationship and then I educate.
Powerful. Love that.
But you got to look for the thing, deep blue, right?
Yeah.
Deep blue
Yeah. Yeah.
rub. That's in the goodie bag. You don't need to do the goodie bag now as long as you get them on LRP. doTERRA sends it for you, which is
Yeah.
amazing and saves me a
So
ton of
great,
money.
right?
Saves me a ton of money.
We've been
It's
begging
like
for that for
years they created the goodie
yes.
bag.
Yeah, right. Okay, we had another question from Karina. Do you follow up one time after you sent that with them?
The goodie bag?
I assume she means the goodie bag. Yeah.
Yeah, so I enroll. I send goodie bag home. They're using the products. When I enroll you, we are scheduling your 1 week follow-up or 10-day, depending on how things are going. Um, so like in the winter, we delay it for like 10 days because in Illinois it takes a while for the snow and all that. And just little things like that. So we set your 1 week appointment and a 3 week appointment. At 1 week, I have my oils now what? We go through favorite recipes. We go over the daily routine of how to use the products that you got, what you're going to use for these miracle moments. And then at week 3, they're welcome to text me anytime in between, but then
Mhm.
they get in the Facebook group for support. But if you
Mm.
text me, I'm going to say, excellent question, Andy. You can find that in our private Facebook group,
Mhm.
ABC, um, and I'll go tag you in a post. And then I start over 90 days. I'm caretaking, relationshiping, and weaning. The A to Z guide in your goodie bag, I still mail an A to Z guide because I
Mhm.
want them to have non-compliant information to look up and open their mind to what the oils can do. And then at that 1 week appointment, they have a whole list of things they want based on flipping through that A to Z guide or trying the samples. At 3 weeks, I want to make sure you've mastered your routine and that you're following through. And we go over then how to order, etc. And at that 3 week, I'm helping them process when I can, and they
Mhm.
stick to their appointment. I'm helping them process their first LRP as long as we're into a new month. And the reason I like to do that is at week 3, it's less than 30 days. So I'll get 3 fast start checks instead of 2. I love
Mm.
serving, but I also like
Mm.
maximizing my income. So I aim to help them process their first LRP as long as the dates line up in less than 30 days.
Wow.
Karina
So
says,
great.
do I eat pipes, right? So I basically do pipes.
Mhm.
Present whether it's on Facebook or a
Mhm.
Zoom or in person or a phone call. Yep. And I follow the
Powerful.
same every time.
Love it.
I'm reading chat now.
Please,
Should I
yeah.
answer? Okay.
Yeah. So talk
So I'm
about
exhausted all the time.
wow.
Because I'm a steamroller and I have all the ideas. I individualize them to everything has to work for every part of the process.
Mhm.
Like it has to work for the customer, it has to work for the salesperson, it has to work for corporate. So,
Yeah.
like when I am wanting something different from the company, I know that I have to look at how does it benefit the company, not just me.
Mhm.
And so it can be exhausting, but it's also very helpful in making sure that it's a win-win for everyone.
You talked about guides that you hand out. Where do you get those since you can't buy the A to Z from Oil Life anymore?
I stocked up when everything was on sale, but also a number of the oil companies have smaller ones. I think a couple of them have copied the A to Z.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. So,
Like
but
aroma
just that.
tools.
Oh, who owns Essential Life now?
I know it's under new management.
New management.
But I don't think they have a little,
They don't have one? Oh,
I
darn.
mean, they
Okay.
have a medium-sized book, but it's spiral bound. It's a book. It's not a,
Okay. That
I think what
one's
they're
too big.
referring to is those little
Yeah.
like brochure booklet guys.
Yeah. Aroma Touch
Or,
has small A to Z.
yeah, I think she means aroma
Aroma
tools.
Tools. Okay.
I
Yep.
think they have probably an A to Z.
So that's where I just get them whichever company had them. And I'm using old ones. It doesn't matter to me that they don't have all the oils. It's
Yeah.
just and I paid $1. It's just to
Okay.
get their wheels turning, but definitely from that.
Great. I love it. Well, if anybody wants to come on live and ask your questions live, I love Karina's asking, do you give anything now for your new enrollments?
Don't need to because doTERRA is sending the samples because I get everybody
Mhm.
on LRP at enrollment time. And
Nice.
then I use the magic button script. Andy, I'd like to click the magic button of free stuff for you. You're going to get, and I list all the stuff they get free. And can I go ahead and click that? And you say yes. I say great. You might get an email saying thank you for signing up for a monthly subscription. But
Mhm.
don't panic. You and I are going to talk at week 1 and week 3 and decide if that's right for you. But that gets those samples in their hands so they can fall in love with those products before the first LRP processes. But I do mail out the A to Z guide and a cute little thank you card. And if their budget didn't allow for coconut oil, I'll mail them a coconut oil. Like I'm pretty generous. I want them to have rollers, coconut oil, some of that other stuff too.
Beautiful. Okay, Virginia came on live with us to ask you questions. So,
Okay.
Virginia, if you want to unmute.
Hi, Virginia.
Hi, I use this magical book with my new people I like you. I'm doing the same thing. I give them cocoa fractionated oil. I give them the stickers, and I listen to what their pain is and teach them that thing for them to do it. Because I use the call it membership overview. When I go through that, I focus on the pages they need. However, so you mentioned, and I was having a hard time writing it all down. So you work on you ask the specific questions in your life: pain, stress, allergies, sleep, digestion. Was there another one I missed?
Sure. It depends on who I'm talking to. So I try to stick to buzzwords, meaning the pain points, right? So I might say wait if I have not met them in person, I will say wait, but in person, I'm never going to say that, right? And then I might throw in hormones. So it's pain, stress, sleep, anxiety, depression, weight, hormones. Think of your buzzwords for your market and like who you're talking to, right? And that gets them thinking because they don't know what oils are for, right? So it gets
Right.
them thinking.
And so you're using the things that will help them to have the miracle moment to get them to cross that bridge. But when you
Hmm.
have your meetings, you have your people come for that topic, and those that are members do the fun stuff, the DIYs. Those that are not, they've got to do the basics. They sign up and then they go to the fun room. Is that right?
Yes, and it just depends on how big you are and what's going on. So that's when, like, for monthly workshop, we'd have a room for newbies. We'd have people making and playing and visiting and sharing and sitting and building community, right? So if I just have a weekly normal class, I just teach that class, right? And there's members, there's newbies, etc.
So how
And
does
then
that work online? So that you have your
online.
weekly online. How do you uh, get them to want to come back? So they okay, so there's too many miles for them to come to your class. Okay.
Hmm.
So
So now I
so
do almost everything online.
okay.
So I teach in a group called Yay Oils Public Education. It's for anyone. You don't have to be a member. Don't have to be on my team. There's like 20,000 people in there learning about oils. And so I just want to educate about the oils. So that's a weekly class for me, even though I'm not like talking to just you. So if I'm not teaching a class on a specific topic on Zoom just for my team, I'm still teaching every single week in a Facebook group on a live and directing people to reach out to the person that helped them get started with their oils. If that's me, let's chat after this live.
Okay. Thank you
I
very
want
much.
to enroll every single person with my mouth. I don't use any link generators. So if you say send me a link, I say Virginia, I would love to chat with you for a few minutes. I would like to gather some more information. I do that because I'm relationship. If I click and buy, I have no love for you. I don't know you. I did not hear your voice. I did not hear your sincerity in wanting to help me. And we did not relationship. It's like dating. You can't put a ring on my finger until you woo me and love on me a little bit. I need a good morning, I need a good night, and I need to know that you care.
So for your leaders, do you have them take the strengths test so you can appreciate where they are in terms of, because as an executor, I'm going to do things differently than you do,
I
obviously.
love this question. I actually hired a Gallup's consultant years ago because I was mentoring like 17 people on my team and nothing was happening and it was not going well. And my husband came home full time to work with me. It did not go well. And then we did the strengths finders, and that's where I found out I'm a steamroller and I love business. Like I'm like extremely loving and caring and people pleasing and I'm getting better boundaries. But back then, when the business hat was on and I said, Virginia, tell me about your new enrollment, Susie Q. I didn't want to hear that she had 4 dogs, 2 cats, and loves bunnies. What I was really asking was, is she going to share? Is she going to spend 100 a month? What do you know about her so we know where to place her? but I didn't know how to communicate with my woo team, right? Because my woo team wanted to, and I don't know, relational or whatever it is when people remember all the details that make absolutely no difference whatsoever in a business setting, right? So I had them do the strengths, and then that's where I learned that I had a team of people where I had to be very clear about what my question was.
Okay, so as a strategic thinker, that's why.
Yeah, right. So I think we might be twins.
But the relationship builders, true relations, so that means they have 3 or more in their top 10. You have to do it that way. And if otherwise they just like, that's what happens.
So I would scare me.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly correct.
My brain works really fast, and that would scare them too.
Yep.
It'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I love that so much. Okay, we had a few more questions come through. You mentioned a script that you were, that you would use with enrollment.
Yep.
Where would people find that script?
Excellent. I can send you a YouTube of it too for the people that like to watch it in real time. But it's called 60-second enrollment script, and you can just Google it. It just comes up now. There's a great
Cool.
video on YouTube, but with me and my friend Rainey, and
Awesome.
but
And
we can send you the YouTube so you can.
and you've got your website is lisazimmer.net,
Hmm.
and people can find those trifolds that you mentioned. They can
Yes.
find your YouTube channel, which has lots and lots of videos. So if people wanted to kind of learn your system, learn your whole like ecosystem, where would they start?
Excellent. So I actually have a free tab on my website, and there's a course called WWZD43. It's free. It teaches people how to share and what the basic tools are. So it teaches 60-second enrollment and magic button script, getting every new enrollment on LRP, and then membership overview and how to get them set up for success. And that's all free on the free tab on lisazimmer.net.
Perfect. That actually answers somebody else's questions about how do you get everyone on LRP. So sounds like they should go watch the video.
Go watch the, yep, magic button script. And you might be
Okay.
able to Google that by now too. Lisa Zimmer magic button script, something like that.
Okay,
Hi,
perfect.
Shelley.
Awesome, awesome. Well, talk to us more about your mindset. I know that, I mean, from my experience,
Mhm.
mindset is 80 to 90% of success. It doesn't matter what tools you use, what system you use, like if you have the right mindset. So if you were coaching one of your new leaders or builders, how do you get that right mindset to be unstoppable, to be your own boss, to manage your time well? What are your top tips for mindset?
Oh boy. That's a great question. I think you may have stumped me on that one. Let me think about that for a sec. So I have it because of what I've been through. Oh, so it's uncovering their why, right? Going back to their why. Why do you want to do it? Like for me, I wanted to save the world, and then I wanted to prove that I could be a six-figure earner again. And right, you have to uncover your why. Um, and if your why is, I just want to make a lot of money, that's not a why. That's a wish, right? A why is like, why do I want to make a lot of money? I would love to make a lot more money so that I could do really good things for people that can't. Like, that's another level of why. My why is I want freedom. I don't want anyone to ever have power and control over me like they did in the past. I have power and control over me. And
Yeah.
I think the big thing is also surrounding yourself with all different kinds of people. So back in my little town, my mindset did not expand as much as it has now. I'm in a different area where everyone isn't super nice and everyone doesn't think the same. And it has improved my mindset because I've learned from other people who have had less than me. And I'm like, wow, I'm complaining about a comp plan change where I still make 11,000. I'm a small team, by the way, because I like teaching other stuff and making trifolds, but I make $11,000 a month and have from 2020 to, 2025 when the comp plan changed. And I'm complaining and I was barely working. Like it really helps you to step out of entitlement And
Hmm.
I did not realize how entitled I was and how entitled people around me were. And then I realized how other people live, and they have to work at least 40 hours a week and
Hmm.
show up 8 to 5 and do things they don't want to do. Whereas I can sleep until noon. I can work 20 hours for 3 days. I can work 0 hours for 3 days. Like, we have been given the most beautiful business model there
Hmm.
possibly could be.
Yeah.
My mindset is the only thing that can ruin it.
Wow. You should make a poster with that right there. Business model really is perfect. I used to, I was approached by all these MLMers, the classic gold chainers, Amway and New Skin. And I had such a bad taste in my mouth for this business model. And so I swore I'd never do it.
Mhm.
But now that I've lived a little bit longer and I've tried lots of business models, um, I'm just convinced that this is the best business model on the planet.
It is.
I
I
can
don't have to
have,
pay to store
yep,
it. I don't have to
yep,
ship it.
yep.
So my philosophy is pay to make the pain go away. So
There you
I'm
go.
giving up some percentage of pretty close to guaranteed commission, right? For someone else to do ridiculous amounts of work that I don't want to touch. I just want to
Exactly.
sell and serve. Sorry, I interrupted you, but
No, you're
it
you're right
really
on.
is that beautiful.
Yeah, we get to be the marketers. We get to build the relationships and heal the world, and somebody else can ship the product and manage the returns and all the headaches of compliance and yada yada. And we just get to shine.
We get to shine. And once you
The best.
build it and take care of it,
Yeah.
right? The retention is really good. I did not work for a year and a half from eye surgery and
Mhm.
immediately went into
Mhm.
moving across the country, empty nester, turning
Mhm.
50, divorced. I should have
Mhm.
been curled up in the corner, sucking my thumb for the last 4.5 years, completely destroyed. But
Mhm.
instead, I had financial freedom
Mhm.
showing up in my paycheck every month. And all
Yeah.
I did was go live once a week to make sure people knew I was still here.
Wow.
And the money came.
Yeah, we have a leader on our team who said that doTERRA is the most forgiving business model out there.
It is.
And you've given us a perfect example of that.
I
So
can step down and do what I need to do, and it still keeps going.
yeah.
Then come back and give it my all. And
Hmm.
but it's like this. Don't worry.
Sure.
Don't you fear. I'm just like everyone else. When they said new comp plan, I said, rah, I don't
Yeah,
like
right.
change. Rah. And then I learned it, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
this baby is gonna benefit me. I don't because do anything else.
So good. So true. Any parting wisdom that you'd give someone who's looking at this business, or maybe they've been in it for a while and things have fallen back? What advice would you give them?
I would, one good thing, I kept every single card and present any customer ever sent me.
Mm,
Build a, what's the word? Build like a little purpose book or board or box.
mm,
So when you're having, and we always said you can't quit on a bad day.
mhm,
And there's always a solution. You just have to think about what it is. But my best advice is stop expecting doTERRA to pay you just for ordering products and using them. I have so
mhm,
many people that are like, hi, I lost money. Da, 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 da. You didn't lose money. You bought products and took care of yourself. And it's not doTERRA's responsibility that you didn't,
uh,
put yourself out there more, or whatever the reasons are, right? So
yeah,
stop pointing fingers and blaming everyone else. And
yeah.
then turn three back on you and say, okay, what did I do today? Two,
Mhm,
who did I talk to about essential oils? Who did I share with? How did I
mhm,
show up? It could just be a story. Like put
mhm,
some oils on your feet, people, and shoot a video and make people ask questions, right? But just learn the few words. Scripts are so important. It builds your confidence. Andy, tell me what you got going on. What else are you having trouble with? Like we could be standing next to each other at Costco and you reach up and you're like, oh, my back. Oh, I'll be like,
mhm,
hey, you okay? And then
mhm,
we start talking.
mhm,
Go back to ring. Go back to why did you choose to share the oils? Well, I
mhm,
chose to share the oils because of fluoroquinolones were killing people
mhm,
or making them kill themselves. And
mhm,
I want to help people about that. Well, then you fall off the wagon because life gets in the way. And now I'm sharing with people again.
mhm.
Hey, here's ways we can take care of ourselves where we don't have to end up in a wheelchair. Like,
Wow.
figure out,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of ways to trigger yourself back into the business.
Mm-hmm.
Go somewhere, talk to someone, and ask them about themselves.
Yeah.
People will open up
Amen.
and share. We are desperate, desperate, desperate for relationship, communication, and human connection.
Mm-hmm.
We have turned into QR codes and links,
Mm-hmm.
and that did not get me to Blue Diamond.
Yeah.
Sitting belly to belly, knee to knee, toe to toe, hugging and crying and listening and solving
Yeah.
with humans in human form
Right.
as much
We're
as
humans. We were meant to relate, to connect, right?
Mhm.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much
Yeah, that
for
was
coming
fun.
on and sharing your story, answering so many questions, and just inspiring us. That's what I've come away with today. I've been so inspired about what's possible, to hear your healing journey, to hear your commitment to healing others, and just being a light. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for lighting up our lives today. We're so grateful for you.
I appreciate you. This was a lovely blessing and surprise. Thanks,
Such a
everybody.
gift.
Thanks.
Awesome. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Andy.